So when you've been around here long enough, part of the training is you get to do BBCs with very little notice. But what I've been thinking about, I think it started to, the analogy came up last fall. I was in Carbondale, Colorado, and I was talking to a group of young men who are really struggling with substance abuse in a residential community. And this analogy came out for them to see their life as a river and to choose what type of boat do they want to float on that river. And so we had quite a bit of fun making all sorts of descriptions of what their minds, what would they want to create for themselves? What type of life do they want to have as they go into this river of life that they've been handed? So I've been taking that analogy in the past few weeks, since the kindness retreat in particular, is looking at the Dharma in the West as a river. You know, I'm a very visual person, and so sometimes for me to be able to really connect to my deep commitment to the Dharma, I need visual pictures. And so the Dharma in the West is like a river, and that the Abbey community and what we do here is so much a part of a great tributary that is feeding itself into that beautiful river of the Dharma in the West. And it's not that long ago that river was quite narrow. You know, the Dharma has not been that present in the West, less than a century really actively, and certainly in the past 50 years. But as the Dharma grows and comes to the West due to the kindness of these remarkable teachers and seekers, the river is starting to grow quite wide, and it's starting to pick up a pretty good stream, a pretty good current in it. And when I think about what we do here at the Abbey, and that we were first quite a very, very small little rivulet that came out of the mountains, that came out of the causes and conditions of, Venerable Chudrin. And then there were all these little rivulets of the karma of Venerable Tarpa and Venerable Semke and Venerable Chuni, all these little tiny streams of karmic, continuity that had created the causes and conditions to meet up with then this little bit bigger stream of Venerable Chudrin. And as time has gone on, each and every one of us to see ourselves as these beautiful little gentle streams like the one that we have up in Tara's refuge that comes down the hill and trickles over the rocks and meanders down through the ferns and the soil. And and the more that we gather together, that stream now becomes quite a bit broader and quite a bit wider, and it's got a nice movement to it. And to really understand that the training that we have here at the Abbey sort of creates the causes for that stream to have some clarity, to have some movement to it, to have some depth to it. And as the years go on, the depth happens because those who train here are able to start, lessening their defilements, start cultivating their virtuous qualities. And so the stream becomes deeper and clearer. And so I keep seeing this Abbey as this stream, but to realize that we're not being forced into going into this stream. We are, by our karma, have been really called to come to the Abbey, to voluntarily step into the stream, to float down to this big, huge river, which is the Dharma in the West. And when we get to that river, as we're training and just keep moving down the river, is that we get to choose always what kind of boat we want to be in that river. We can come in and out of the river however many times we want, but what kind of boat, what kind of mind do we want to bring to the Dharma in the West based on how we're training here at the Abbey? So it could be something like a kayak, fast, sits on the surface, a little bit unstable. It needs quite a bit of focus, quite a bit of stabilizing. It could be something like a speedboat. It could be a sailboat. It could be a houseboat. It could be a steamer. It could be a yacht. It could be an ocean liner. Depending on what your mind is. Some minds are very, very, you just get to decide what kind of boat you want. And as the years go on, the boat can change. But to always remember that we have voluntarily chosen Part of it is because of the strong, powerful karmic imprints of great virtue from previous lives that have even gotten us here. That we get to choose day by day what type of boat, how we're going to be able to keep it afloat. Does it need an anchor? Does it need a bigger rudder? Does it need sails? Does it need a bigger engine? And that as we train, that boat becomes very uniquely our own boat. Just because we're training, we all wear the same robes and we have the same haircut, we are very much uniquely contributing to the Dharma in the West. And so I really want to continue to think in my own mind how precious this opportunity is, that we have the great fortune to be at the beginning of this river that is not as big, going to turn into an ocean, hopefully one day, a beautiful, glorious ocean. But right now the river is expanding, and that we contribute very directly to the growing of the Buddhist teachings in the West. And it can be from a big picture all the way down to what we do when we first get up out of bed in the morning. Everything that we do contributes to the flourishing of the Buddhist teachings in the West, from the very small things to the very big thinking that we try to cultivate here. So I've just been really inspired with the changes that are coming with the community, with our guests that come, the teachings, the teachers. Every moment we get an opportunity to decide what type of boat, and do we want to jump into the river? Do we want to put it in, set sail, and really contribute to the flourishing of the Dharma? So that's what I've been thinking about lately.